What's up, guys? We're back in the truck today. It must be Field Trip Friday! So on these Field Trip Fridays, we're always trying to educate you guys, take you around to cool places in our state. But when we take you there, it's just not for like entertainment purposes. We really want you guys to learn things.
And get some nuggets.
Yeah, and plant those nuggets and get you some more nuggets out of those nuggets. So in today's video, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be talking about farmers markets, and then I think we're gonna be able to squeeze in an organic restaurant that actually uses local farmers to source their food so they can prepare it for their customers.
Right, all types of the meat and the cheeses and the produce, everything.
So hopefully it's gonna be a good comprehensive video for you guys, because we're gonna be talking about all kinds of stuff about farmers markets.
Because they're starting soon. Spring is here.
That's why the timing is everything. But the main reason is so you guys who want to live this lifestyle, you've seen me go with Curtis Stone, show his program. You can make money on your homestead by selling your produce. So if that's something that you want to do, I know several families have got a hold of us via the email, and they're going to start doing market gardening because their whole family can actually work together and make money together, and that's huge. It teaches the kids a lot of responsibility. Everyone's working together all day long. The unit of the family becomes stronger, and that's hopefully why you guys are watching this channel, even though our kids are grown and gone, is to help you, if you have young ones or you're raising up some kids, to keep your family nucleus tight and teach them how to work hard and how to make money. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. On the next shot, we're going to be pretty much where we need to be. So here we go. All right, so we're here for the big Field Trip Friday. Today we are with a farmers market guru. So the whole point of this video, guys, is because we know you guys want to grow food, we know you guys want to bring it to market, maybe you want to sell it to some restaurants. Stay tuned to the end of this video, because we're actually going to go to a restaurant that serves farm to table food, and you're really going to enjoy that. He's going to give you guys some of the things he looks for, and then kind of break down some of what they do and how much they use. So hopefully you'll find that informative. But the main reason that we're doing this, let me get loose here, is to talk to you guys so you guys can keep your families together. Great examples out of Goshen. They're going to be traveling around, and they're going to be getting their homestead for their family, and they have a big team of people already with their kids and them, where they can actually do a market garden and make their homestead sustainable. So that's why we're bringing you guys this information, and hopefully even if you're not market gardening, you can glean from this information and then find farmers markets or restaurants that serve farm to table, and then you could support your local agriculture, local community. And so hopefully we're sending you there instead of like McDonald's or Arby's or Quiznos or something stupid like that. Right.
Well, first of all, I have to say to you, this is Renee. Say hi.
Hi.
And Renee and I, believe it or not, we just kind of hooked up not that long ago.
Right.
We were very good friends in 7th grade. Way back when.
Right.
And come to find out, she is president of the Missouri Farmers Market Association, and she's also the farmers market manager at a couple very nice farmers markets here in St. Louis.
Yes.
And one of them is probably one of the best in St. Louis.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
So how long have you actually been running or organizing farmers markets?
This season will start my 10th season as a farmers market manager.
And so you do stuff, big type farmers markets down to a smaller type farmers market?
Right. I find that really there's no size. It should really fit the community that you're in. So the vendor size isn't always necessarily what's important. It's the quality of vendor, the kind of vendor, and what the community needs and wants.
So when they come to you, they just say, hey, we're a couple guys that grow food, and maybe we're thinking about having a farmer's market.
That can be one of them. It could be a city, it could be a property manager, it could be a group of producers and growers. So yeah, people call and we want to have a farmer's market, how do we do it?
Right.
And so there's just a series of sort of questions and information that I try to glean before we get into that process.
And so you consult with them, help them get it set up, talk to them about lighting. We're going to go over some of this stuff, electrical, the different codes, right? Because every city, even in your own state, might have different regulations.
Exactly, right.
And I know Missouri is what they call a home state.
Home rule state.
Home rule state.
Yes, right.
And what does that mean?
So a home rule state in my realm of farmers market management, it means that the minimum requirements for a municipality or a city will be what the state regulations are, but it also means that a local city or municipality can have a stricter rule or regulation. Right. So that's what it means. And
so like if you have a county or city that's, and your farmer's market might be like right on the line or something, it could really cause you some issues because one city might have these rules and one city might have these rules.
Right, there could be different permitting regulations, prices, and health department codes.
And do you think, are you trying to work with the state government or the FDA people or someone who could actually try to help level that out, or what are you thinking about that?
I'm trying. I have met a few health department officials from different counties in the state, and at some point I would hope that maybe we can at least have a cohesive, like adjoining counties,
right,
or
so
adjoining,
consistent.
exactly.
Yeah.
So there's some consistency. So if on a Wednesday you're going to city A, and Thursday you're going to B, and on Saturday you're going to C, there's a lot of, at this point in time, there could be a lot of different rules and regulations and permits and even fee costs.
Right.
So my hope would be in the near future to try to level that out so it's more consistent.
If somebody wanted to become, a vendor at a farmer's market and they're just starting fresh, or even someone who has been doing it a while, what do they need to know and what do they need to do?
Well, I would say there is a list, but let's start with the basics. If you have a farmer's market in your community already and you're thinking about joining the farmer's market, there are some basic, I would call them equipment needs and logistical needs. I have my list so I don't forget, because I don't want to mess up.
We want to give you good information.
Yeah, there you go.
And we're making her nervous. She's never done a video before.
Yeah, right. So.
And again, this is specific to our location. These may vary some from where you're at.
Yes, exactly. So in general, a pop-up canopy tent, and there's all prices, there's all styles. In the history of farmers market management, I would suggest getting a heavier duty one that you're going to be putting up and down weekly. And if there's a warranty available, I would also get a warranty for that.
And I'll go on that one more on my marketing side, is everyone goes to Walmart or they go to the same place and they get the same tent, right? Like how many times have you been at farmers markets and they're all the same? So get the yellow, get the purple, get the one that explodes out of the group.
One.
Yeah,
right,
there you go,
so that way you guys stand out and that gives you an edge right off the bat.
Or spray paint it, make good graffiti, do
No, don't listen to her.
Whatever you say.
No, but definitely you don't want to get the same one that everyone has. And if you guys go to your local farmers markets, you're going to walk in there and you're going to see it's the same thing. Same tables, same tents, same everything. And then all the people are standing there and they just are like, well, I hope they come up to my table or something like that. Make sure you're standing out.
Right, exactly. That's a very good point. Get some really sturdy, heavy-duty tent weights.
Right.
It's a liability if there's a strong wind, in general.
And that's going to happen for sure.
Right. And I would say, you can make homemade ones. I've seen concrete blocks. I've seen sandbags. I've seen like gallon jugs filled with concrete with the what are those bolts in them?
Yeah, the eye bolts.
Eye bolts.
I've seen them where they like take their little young kids and wrap them around the post.
Right, yeah, there you go. A big pumpkin, whatever.
But yeah, it makes perfect sense. You don't want to have a liability if that thing blows over, hits somebody. I mean, and then plus your day's done anyways once the canopy goes.
And all your product.
Yeah, you're done.
And I would say a lot of the markets that you go to, that's going to be a requirement.
Right.
So don't forget the tent weights. And then any of your display tables, your racks, your bins that you're going to need. So decide, like there's a potato farmer that I know that has like 20 different varieties of potatoes, and they use like the milk crates, and they display them on the, so come up with some ideas. There may be some requirements for your market, you know, so just be aware whatever those requirements are, but be prepared with your own shelving bins and so forth. Tablecloth, sometimes that's a requirement.
And don't get the same tablecloth. Get one that pops.
Right.
And you guys know, you watch our channel and we talk about anthocyanin-rich foods, so you're going to have a very colorful table if you're smart, and everyone else is going to have an orange carrot, a red tomato, you know, a green thing of cabbage, and you're going to have the purple cabbage,
Right.
the other the different colored tomatoes, and then you're going to have that tablecloth, and your table is going to pop from everybody else's.
And don't put the same colors together. Don't put like a red pepper with a red tomato.
Right.
Make sure
Break
it looks
them up.
pretty.
These marketing tips are absolutely free, and we know you guys are going to profit from them.
Right, exactly. So they're also the requirement, we have what's called traceability. So traceability in the farmer's market and the agricultural world means that when the customer buys that product, or when the inspector inspects, that they know where that came from. You want to look for producer-only markets.
Right.
You want to make sure that your market manager has visited the market, has inspected the market, and know that your market manager, and it's also on my list, that your market manager is a well-educated person that knows rules, knows regulations, knows maybe, you know, what's in season. I mean, is there a market manager that doesn't know what season vegetables grow in? You know, it's like, oh my God.
There might be.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So what you're going to need is a banner or signage that has your farm name with the address. It's a requirement.
For sure. And you're going to have little business cards, maybe
Right.
stickers, you know, that's just more marketing as well. Yeah.
Right. And then the other thing, depending on what you're selling and how you package it, you may or may not need a certified scale.
Oh, right.
A certified scale is important, and also the Missouri State, I don't know if it's the Ag Department, we have a Department of Weights and Measures. And they are absolutely fascinating, geeky, fascinating, cool. I love talking to them because they will actually give you ideas on how to package, box, and maybe pre-weigh or measure out your products for market, because it has to be there has to be consistency. Right. And it's a really interesting, and they're willing to work with people to make sure that you're not being overburdened, but that every customer gets a fair shake with the right amount of product.
Now, do they show up at the farmers markets and maybe mingle around, or do you kind of contact them, or how does that work?
So with the Department of Weights and Measures, like, for example, for me as a manager, I call and ask, because I'm there to like educate and help my farmers market vendors. But in general, you can call their phone number in Jeff City, and they can give you ideas. I think they also have maybe handouts. I have not seen, well, I haven't personally seen them at a market that I've managed, but I do know on occasion they will inspect markets to make sure that the scales are certified scales, or they'll visit markets and they'll certify them at the market to make it convenient.
That's cool. That's really good.
Right. So that's something that you would need. Price tags, a price board. Some people just have like a dry erase board or a chalkboard to write prices on. A cash box with change. Of course, some people forget it. As a market manager, we carry change with us to make change for the vendor in case they don't have it. Necessary insurance, permits, licenses. Like if you sell eggs, you need your egg license. Keep it with you.
So does everyone need an egg license now? Okay.
Yes.
Really? In the state of Missouri, to sell eggs, you need an egg license?
Right. It's $5 maybe annually.
Is that over a certain amount of dozens you sell, or just if you sell them?
Just if you sell them commercially. So on the egg carton, you need to have the date. And again, I think this is my personal philosophy. Was what I tell the farmers market vendors. I said, say you have a customer goes to a place and eats a salad bar, goes to a fast food restaurant, and then comes to the market and gets your food and gets sick. Where's the first place people...
They're going to blame you because you're at the farmer's market.
At their farmer's market. So I say, in order to protect yourself, to be quite honest, be traceable, be transparent, because you're probably treating your chickens and your animals, you're probably, your soil amendments, your water, you're probably doing everything really, really clean and then the right way, and it's protecting you when you stay, you know. Now, again, maybe some people don't know they need to have an egg permit. Your farmer's market manager should know
tell
that
you, for sure.
and be able to help you get that. It's inexpensive. and it's a number. And last year, the year before to market, I had a county inspector want the egg license. The vendor didn't have it with her at that market. I called Jeff City at like 5 minutes to 5. And I said, I need an egg license for this vendor or they're going to shut her down. And they took a picture and sent it to me. So have your...
What a good manager.
She's a good market manager.
Yeah, well, thank you. I care. I
yeah,
care.
That's good. That's what you want to find, right?
So you're going to want to have your automobile liability insurance because you're going to be pulling in and out of,
for sure.
you know, some property owners. So really it's going to be wherever you're having the market, they are the ones that are going to have those requirements. So if they say you need liability insurance, then $1 million, then you need to have liability insurance for $1 million.
Wow, who would ever thought that? I didn't even ever think about that.
It could be somebody walks up to your table and trips and falls or breaks glass or you know, any number of things. So just be aware when you're shopping around for a farmer's market or interested in a farmer's market, what the requirements are.
Right, sure.
What the permitting, if there's a permit or so on and so forth. And then, you know, really that's your basic equipment in your space, your licenses, your signage, and then there's other pieces of information that you may want to know when you're looking for a farmer's market.
Like to go shopping for?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, yes.
And a lot of those, I think, maybe bulletin boards or could you probably Google like my local farmer's market? As a farmer's market manager, do you kind of, is there like a centralized website for the ones you deal with, or do you post
anywhere
something?
in the whole United States or Canada or wherever? Like, how would you find out your market manager? I guess, is it posted pretty, you could find it accessibly?
That would be nice if it was.
Yeah.
And so like with the Missouri Farmers Market Association, we have a website that lists all of our member markets. The only way the state of Missouri, or maybe any state, I can't speak for any state, but in the state of Missouri, a farmer's market can register free with the ag department. They go on the Agri-Missouri website and register, and then that's how we know how many farmers markets there are. And the last count, the state of Missouri was like in the top 10 of the whole United States of America.
Wow!
For the amount of farmers markets, but the only way we can get that number is if we set a farmers market up in the field and we went onto the Missouri Ag Department and registered it.
Right.
So there could be more, there could be some that started, but then they closed and weren't taken off the website. So
don't let the insurances and stuff like that scare you guys away. Obviously, it's not that big of a burden if our state is one of the top 10 farmers market states in the country.
What were some of the
I know
others?
Some people hear that stuff and they're like, "Oh, I don't know. That just sounds like it's going to be expensive," or la 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 la. So
it's really not, and and that's a good point to make. Is I would say, for example, in the county that I have managed the markets in St. Louis County, it's a free registration.
Right.
So you have to register, but it's a free registration. Market fees vary, and that's one thing that you'll want to know. You'll want to ask your market manager, you know, how much are your market fees? And some markets, I've managed a market where we actually put up tents and tables for the vendor.
oh, right. They provided them, but you put them up.
No.
Oh, you actually provided everything.
We provided them.
Nice.
So that was one of those cookie
Probably
cutter.
charge more too.
It was $5 more, right? It wasn't, but it was one of those cookie cutter markets.
Right.
It was every tent was
Looks
white.
the same, right?
And then, you know, but the convenience was we had elder people, we had people with smaller vehicles. We had people that were going to multiple markets that maybe didn't have multiple tents.
Right.
It doesn't happen often.
There's benefits too. Yeah.
There are some benefits. Other things you may want to ask questions about are, you know, there's requirements for bathrooms, hand washing stations. Is there electric available? Are you going to be setting up on asphalt? Are you going to be setting up in a grassy area where it may become muddy? Is it a covered pavilion space? Is it an open space? Does the vendor get to pull up to their space to unload and load? What's the vendor parking like?
Right.
Do you get to work out of your vehicle? or not? Do you have some places you can actually work out of the back of your truck?
Right. Which, you know, it gives that good country feel.
Exactly.
So wait, what were some of the other places you said that were in the United States?
Oh, California.
And a lot of farmers markets.
Well, California has almost like state-run farmers markets, consistency rules that are pretty much statewide. Oregon has...
Of course California has a lot of good state rules.
They're their own country, right?
Yeah. You said Oregon?
Yeah,
Oregon.
The city of Portland has a farmers market almost every day of the week, but they're called Portland Farmers Markets. And they kind of move around, and there's 2 or 3 in the city. In Missouri, it's pretty much, I mean, really, I've had firsthand experience with someone that says, hey, we're going to have a farmer's market at this park on Saturday and get some friends together. But to be quite, they get shut down.
Oh, right, because they're not legit. Right.
And yeah, and you just can't set up a bunch of tents in a park.
Right.
You know, kind of unfortunate, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
it would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, so I would say that, yeah, know your municipality, and I guess also keep in mind that I think in general, most municipalities, most property owners, they want the markets to succeed.
Sure.
They want the markets to do well. They want them to be a community gathering place that's a positive vibe. And if you go into this with the attitude that it is a fun community gathering place, but first and foremost, it's a place of commerce. And so always keep that in mind. What is the market manager, the property owner doing to create this place of commerce? I think the sweet spot is when you get the market manager, the municipality, the city, to realize that people are here to make money, to pay their bills, and that it sometimes can be a main source of income for a vendor. And so to make sure that maybe the signage, the advertising, the marketing, the safety, things that encourage the community to come and shop at the farmers market are viable.
Yeah.
It's important. It's fun, and you get to create relationships with people. You get to know your consumer, your customer. Over the last 10 years, we've made some really, really vital relationships. And but first and foremost, I want the vendor's table to be sold out by the time market is over.
End of the day, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to also ask you, what are all the different things, you know, we all think about like fruits and vegetables, but what are all the things that you can sell
at a farmer's market?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes. So,
switchblades, handcuffs, guns.
No. So at a traditional farmer's market, well, yes, I would say, depending on the setup of the farmer's market, there are sometimes ones called farmers and artisans markets. In general, I've never managed one of those, but I know that there are. We like to keep the rule of thumb of 80% of the vendors, food, produce, baked goods, honey, and then if you want to, you can supplement. We do like a 20% handmade artisan craft items. Some are producer only, vegetables and food, no artisans, so you know, you can kind of get a feel for that. So local seasonal produce, that's the big one. Keep in mind that some markets start really early.
Yeah.
I have a market starting in early April. Try to be unique. What are your first spring veggies going to be that people love or that people rarely see?
Right.
People love asparagus. So asparagus always sells out fast. Peas always sell out fast. There are so many like lettuces, radishes, but you know, sometimes vendors ask me, well, what do you think? What don't you have at market? What could I bring? Yeah, and I like the different colors and different varieties of vegetables, things that are a little more unique.
Right.
So seasonal local produce, and I would say then we have eggs, chicken, quail, duck, goose and turkey eggs.
Right.
Are there other ones? Guinea? I don't know.
Yep,
People
Yeah, guinea eggs.
guinea
Yeah,
eggs.
people like
yes.
guinea eggs. Yeah.
So be prepared to ask questions, especially if you're bringing in different kinds of eggs. People, make sure your price points are, you know, you can charge more for duck eggs, goose eggs, turkey eggs,
Yeah.
you know, so on and so forth. Then the meat. The meat is, the meat has probably the most regulations.
Sure.
Yep.
So make sure that you know your USDA rules, your local municipality rules. Some counties will let you bring meat in a cooler as long as you keep it at 40 degrees or below.
Right.
Some municipalities will require that you have mechanical refrigeration, so you're going to actually need your truck with your freezer. You're going to have to make sure your market has a plug, and know even your processing and your rules for rabbit or quail or duck, because those are alpaca.
Right.
There's different meats that don't have traditional USDA processing rules, so
Right.
know those. Know
And
about
go for those if you can.
yeah, right. Know your poultry exemption. Do you know what your poultry exemption rule is? The USDA has a poultry exemption of slaughtering on your farm.
Right.
Know what that rule is, because that'll save you a lot of money.
And hassle, yeah.
Right. So then we have also plants and seeds.
Yep.
Plants and seeds. You need to still have the traceability with your plants.
Right.
So you need to be propagating those yourselves and know what kind of seeds and plants that you're selling. But those are really good early market. Have those ready to sell the first
Yeah,
few
starter
weeks or
So
more.
what do you mean by
Right.
traceability? How do you?
So, for example, are you getting your seeds from Baker Creek and starting your plants
Right,
from there? Is
right.
one that I would.
So do you just tell them, or do you have to have it written down? or how
Receipts
does
are
it
good.
work?
Just keep a receipt. Keep a receipt.
Getting it from them, but the traceability is good too. Like if you have little containers, maybe make sure that your farm name is on there, you know,
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
Because you might not have barcodes. It's a little more of a step to do that.
Right.
But you could do like the old tags, or even put strings with little numbers on them for your prices.
Right.
But just make sure you're accompanying that with some type of branding of your farm.
Right.
And it's just good business.
It is, and do really, if you're buying, especially if you're paying more and you're using, you know, heirloom or organic or non-GMO seeds, save your receipts.
Right.
And that's just a really good sort of proving, you know, in case somebody's like, no, you're not,
Right,
kind of
right.
thing.
And that definitely will happen.
It could.
Right. And then along with produce, you also include berries, stone fruits, orchard fruits, wild forage berries, and
Yeah.
fruits like pawpaws, persimmons, gooseberries, and huckleberries. You can also sell those all at the farmer's market.
Blackberries and elderberries.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Raw honey and
Right.
honey products.
Love that honey.
Cultivated mushrooms, shiitakes and oyster mushrooms.
Now, isn't there something if you forage mushrooms, you have to have a special kind of
Yes.
license?
Yes. So right now the requirement is for morels and chanterelles. The Missouri Mycological Society, in conjunction with the Missouri Ag Department, has mushroom identification classes that you can take, and there's actually a morel certification class coming up in the next, I don't know if it's like a month. So go to Missouri, I think it's MOMyco.org, MissouriMyco.org, and you can sign up for these classes, and then you can sell morels and chanterelles at market.
Yeah, you don't want to be getting those magic mushrooms.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, then we have nuts. When I always consider the little sweet native Missouri pecans, they can be cultivated pecan trees as well. Black walnuts. Well, I'm not sure what other nuts.
There's hickory nuts.
Hickory nuts,
Yeah, that people
walnuts,
would. Yeah. So you know you can.
Pecans.
Right.
Pecans.
Yeah, pecans. Herbs, and those can be, I call them wild herbs, you know, medicinal things that we find, as well as cultivated herbs. Just make sure of your ID.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes people want to know, well, what can you do with purslane? You have purslane at the market. Like, people are like, what is that?
Right.
What can you do
It's
with it?
wonderful.
Right.
It's wonderful.
So
in salad.
think of those things that you think of as weedy, and there's actually a market for those at the market, as long as you tell people what it's good for and how to use it.
Right.
Purslane is so.
And when you
helpful.
educate them too, it just
Yeah.
opens it up for more sales, more revenue,
Right.
more understanding.
Right. Jams, jellies, preserves, and syrups. Do you have maple syrup? You know,
Yeah,
you can
maple
sell
trees, yeah.
Maple trees, maple syrup. And then there's baked goods, breads, pies, cakes, so on and so forth.
That's
Now-
my department.
Yeah. And then
For sure.
For home canning, you need a special certification in class. It's a USDA better processing low acid class, and that's for relishes, pickles, anything that's low acid. You have to take a class and be certified, and you will be checked on that.
Well, let me ask you, what about like people that do ferments?
That one I don't have an answer
Off the
yet.
radar. Yeah.
It is. It really is.
Good.
Because I see they're all over. They sell them all over.
There are
kombuchas and
there are some health departments in some parts of the states, part of our state, excuse me, that have worked with people that are doing fermentation, especially like sauerkraut, kombucha, but it's not widespread. It's not widely known yet how to treat those.
Yeah.
Because it's all over on the West Coast. When you go to those farmers markets, it's everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're not quite there yet. And then also be sure that you know your local health food code. Can you cook out of your home? Do you have to have a certified kitchen? And I always tell people, if you do need a certified kitchen, look for a local church or a private school.
Good idea.
Or you can co-op a kitchen. There's a couple places here in our area that you can actually go share a kitchen with someone else.
So that would be people who want to do their baked goods and sell them like that.
That's a good idea.
And basically what you need for that is a letter from the establishment. And sometimes you need a letter from the health department saying that that establishment has been A-OK by them. So there's ways to get around the certified kitchen. And then as far as non-food items, I would say very popular non-food items would be soap, fibers, yarns, the lamb, sheep, goats, rabbits, alpaca, anything.
We did a really good field trip Friday at the alpaca farm. We'll link it above.
Anything, wooden spoons, spatulas, wooden bowls, anything utilitarian like that, cutting boards, and then utilitarian pottery. I would say if you're doing anything, we have had a few people that have brought furniture. It's just a lot.
Yeah, it's not really. People can't grab that and take it. They're not coming there expecting
put it in their little bag.
Right. And then I would say another. That's kind of a food item. Some people make herbal teas, tinctures, salves, and sometimes you fall into a little bit of a category, where that falls. But so those are some of the ideas besides the traditional fruits, vegetables. Berries,
there's
mushrooms.
so much. That's a wide range of stuff you could do.
Definitely. I mean, if you guys want to turn homesteading into a business and have your family work together and play together, this is definitely a way you can do it. You could catch 1 or 2 markets a week, or just 1 a week.
And there's more than 2, but you could find them.
I know, but I mean, just saying, you don't want to be. If you're wanting to have a family life like we're talking about, you're not going to be going to 5 markets every week. So if you find 1 or 2, and you can really get in there, find a good market manager, ask some of these questions, make sure that you're building that relationship with your market manager so they can help you answer those questions. And if they're hard to get along with, then you might just want to look for like another location. Do you know what I mean?
Or think about making your own. There are some producer markets that the producers work together and make their own market. There are some logistics to being a market vendor as well as a market manager, but it works.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like any business. We've owned several, Stacy and myself. It takes work, it takes dedication, but it does afford you the kind of freedoms and financial independence that you're striving for. So hopefully you guys are digging this video.
And you meet a lot of cool people too.
That's the number one thing. I would oftentimes tell people that are in this kind of work, or even like the YouTube thing or whatever, that we're not really in that particular business. We're not farmers markets, but we're basically in the people's business. That wherever there's people, there's business, and we should be able, if we can relate to people good and present a good product and stand behind what you're doing and have pride in it, you're going to be successful. It just takes a little time to get there.
Right, I agree.
And they're cool people too.
So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go over to a local restaurant. We're going to get some of his tips and tricks like I told you guys earlier in the video, and then we'll end it right there. So appreciate all your time coming out and hanging out with us in the pavilion. Yeah, they got to reconnect. I mean, they were talking about their high school days. And, she went to Hawaii in '76 and all this stuff, and got her shirt. It's amazing the things that you remember as a youngster, that you carry with you through all this time. So, all right, we're gonna get out of here. Let's clap those hands.
that little hallway to the right and to the left.
Okay guys, so hopefully you guys like the first part of this segment, and now we're actually going to be in a restaurant that is like the person who would employ you. So if you were a market gardener, if you're thinking about growing vegetables and meats and anything like that, and then getting it onto a restaurant's table. Today we're here at the local chef restaurant. It's in FALLON, Missouri, and this is the owner, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about like the things that he looks for and how he sources his food, and you know, just stuff like that. So thanks for being on the show.
Great, I'm glad you guys came by and check it out.
Yeah, so how long have you actually had this location?
We've been here for 2 years now. It's been a pretty good 2 years. You know, we came in, what we wanted to do was be able to serve locally sourced food at a really affordable price.
Yeah.
Where, you know, people can come in, you know, 2 or 3 times a week instead of maybe once a month.
Right.
So as a chef, on my days off, I want to go eat somewhere.
Right.
And the offerings for local food were like Chipotle or some other small places, a real fancy restaurant.
Right.
So we decided to do this fast casual. The average ticket's like $14 for all the food, the meats, cheeses, the dairy, all the vegetables are sourced locally in Missouri, Illinois right now. So it's been a good run for us so far. We're still growing, you know.
Yeah.
West County's not in the city, but it's a good place for us to be, for people who aren't in the city can find some good local food.
Yeah, I think that your location's good because this area, if you guys know the St. Louis metro area, this is a pretty trendy, hipster type of place, and eating good is really catching on for people, and they're trying to find food that's locally sourced, no GMOs, no chemicals, stuff like that.
Exactly.
So the word on the street too is like you're a really good chef.
I've been doing it for a while, you know.
Yeah.
And this is kind of, I'm not going to say this is retirement for me, but it's not quite as fast-paced as the larger kitchens that I've worked in over the past 25 years. It's pretty, a little bit slower.
Yeah.
We're able to really cook here because we do bring in whole hogs and we'll break them down. If we'll use the different cuts to kind of create the menus on a weekly basis.
And do you work here with your wife pretty much a lot too, or what?
Right, and then I have a lot of chefs that have worked with me over the years that come in. It's usually, most days it might just be me and my main sous chef working there.
Yeah. I just think it's neat because you're able to keep your family together a lot more because you guys are working on these projects together and providing good food for the community.
Right. Everybody says, oh, you go downtown to the city, you'll be way more busy and successful.
Yeah.
I also won't be living 10 minutes away from home.
From your house, that's exactly right. Good job, good job.
So it works out good.
So when you're like sourcing, like we know some of the people you get things from, even the local Amish community. So what do you look for? Like if someone, do they just come in kind of cold calling you, or do you reach out because you found them at a farmer's market, or how does that work?
Well, it's like 10 years ago, 12 years ago when I started it, I had to go searching out people quite a bit.
Right.
Just whatever I wanted to. And now it's, I guess the word's getting around that we're really serious about doing local food. It's not just 1 or 2 items on our menu. It is our menu, all the local products. So I have a lot of farmers just call me and want to know what I'm doing. If I'm really interested in lamb or pig or anything like that. But if I'm looking for something, now I have like an outlet.
Right.
I can say, hey, you know, I can get these great canned products from Mr. Hilty, or you know, different kinds of snacks that someone's making in Missouri.
So do you have like for like greens and stuff? I mean, you guys have salads and sandwich dressings and stuff. Do you have somebody that shows up consistently, kind of bringing that in like every week or 2 weeks or something like that? Or
about every week, when the CSA program starts, our CSA boxes, we have every week we'll give about $1,000 worth of local product a week.
Okay.
For us, and we're small, you know, so that's a good amount.
Yeah. So do you actually subscribe to like a CSA box?
So we do it.
You actually do it.
We do the boxes.
Okay.
I guess technically it's a combined CSA.
Right.
Where all the producers that we use, from the meat, the dairy, egg producers, and all the vegetables, we put that into our box.
Right on.
So which means we're buying a heck of a lot more product than we would normally.
Right.
Just for the fact that we're selling 20 of these boxes to the general public when they come to pick it up.
Yeah, so that's what you do. You offer the food here if they want to stop in and dine, and then also you take it a step further where they could actually join a CSA through your building, come pick it up every month or something, and then take it away.
We'll do a weekly one.
Yeah.
But it's we'll have a lot of produce in there, but since we're a restaurant, we have the meat, the dairy, eggs, and we make some value-added products from local products.
That's good.
Whether it's dressings or some sides or pastrami or some kind of roast beef or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's a little more manageable.
Yeah.
And we give them notes on how to use everything.
Right.
So they'll come pick up their box on Thursday, and then we'll also maybe have some dinner, take some food home or whatever.
I think that's a great idea because I know probably a lot of these type of restaurants don't really take it that next step and then put up a CSA box, you know, and what that also does too is that gets the customer to continually come back to the restaurant, so they'll grab a sandwich while they're here or just talk with you, and that just builds community, and that just keeps them coming back to the place. I love that.
Our company started as a group that we do the school lunch, the farmer school for a small Montessori school. That was 6 years ago we started that.
Right.
And I would do that, execute that out of the other restaurants I worked at. And then when I left, decided to do this. It was a perfect thing, you know, because we're feeding these kids every day.
Yeah.
You know, hormone-free meats.
Right.
You know, pastured chicken. And they get eggs, or getting free-range eggs and all that stuff.
Right.
And do the whole hog, so they actually eat nose to tail throughout the year.
Right.
They'll get like some braised shoulder, or some ground meat and a burger, or some ham from the back end, so they get a good exposure to all the different cuts of meat that are out there. They may not know it yet, but they're really getting exposed to great products. You know?
Yeah.
And like during the summer is the best time for me to eat because that's when all the vegetables are out.
Right.
And they, you know, we try to be as seasonal as we can, so they may not know it. They're eating like the best watermelon in the summertime, and they might realize, hey, why don't we have cantaloupe and watermelon in the wintertime? Because we can't get good stuff. So and they like put it in the back of their minds that they're eating seasonally. Yeah. And kind of reflect one day when they're old enough, saying, "Oh yeah, I've been doing that for years, you know."
Yeah.
Chef Rob's been giving me local seasonal food since I was a kindergarten.
And good on the Montessori schools too, because they're giving their kids and raising them up. You know, the parents are paying for that school, but they're giving them these unprocessed type foods, and that's better for everyone's health all the way around. So I really like that. You know, you guys know watching our channel that Stacy works at Montessori schools too. So we really agree with a lot of the things that they do. So, and rumor has it too, like you keep like a whole hog or something in your freezer right here on the spot.
We do. We just got a small pig in.
Yeah.
We're gonna work it up for my nephew's wedding. We're gonna do some roast on it, some whole pig, but. Usually we'll have some kind of whole animal in the cooler, and all we have is like we don't have a walk-in, we have a 3-door refrigeration unit. So as soon as it comes in, we break the hog down into the primal cuts and then pack it up there. And then we like to let it age, rest for at least a week. Right. Because it just like starts to break it down and it's more tender. You get a better idea what the meat is all about, the flavor of it, and it develops.
And another thing I noticed when we came in is that they actually have kombucha on tap, and it's even a local run kombucha company. What's the name of it?
We got Com kombucha. Yeah,
Com.
And Com Blue kombucha. Yeah. Because you know, when I started, you know, doing local stuff and drinking kombucha, most of the grocery stores they had like you go in and have 2 bottles of it. Right. That's it. Right. So through a farmer, I got a mother to start making my own kombucha. Right. And then when we opened the restaurant, I was too busy. And these local companies started popping up where they're making their own kombucha here in town. We got the bottles in the first. Seemed like I was drinking all the inventories. So we eventually they started doing these kegs. So we just blow through the kegs of kombucha all the time now. Yeah. So we're not liquor license, but it's a really great product for people. And you know, people are more and more wanting to get something that's they drink it's going to have a health benefit. Yeah, probiotics, sure. Not necessarily trying to be a health conscious restaurant,
but it just kind of goes hand in hand, and plus it's a local product. So also too, what I was thinking about is if someone like is on the other side right now watching this video, they're like, you know, I want to start a market garden, I want to grow. Like how, because you're in, you know, you're in the business. How are you like receiving people that just come through the front door and say, hey, you know, I have a market garden. Like, do you want to go out and visit their place, or you know, like what's the steps involved with that part of getting into your restaurant?
I usually start by saying, well, we use about 20 to 30 pounds of this every week. So, you know, can you do that? No. If they're just doing like half a pound, it's not really worth us doing it. But I'm going to have the smaller farmers, I try to have them grow a little more specific vegetable, something that nobody else is growing. And it works out pretty good because they're starting it, I can take what they get, and then if it goes well, and the year after that, they'll
get more ordering and stuff like that. Right. You want to make sure they're going to be consistent and actually fulfill what they're saying, because you know when you're running a restaurant like this, it can't be a crapshoot. I mean, you have to have the inventory on hand for your customers walking it off the street.
That's kind of the way I knew the menu was going to have to change every week. Right. Because we don't have like cucumbers, things like that on the menu now. Right. But like when we're heavy on it, it'll be like on a cucumber salad as a side. Right. We just push all the in-season items on top.
So when you said the 20-pound thing, was that like an arbitrary number you kind of grabbed, or is that something that you definitely, as your business size, that's about right, 20 pounds worth of green or spinach or something?
You do, 50 pounds of potatoes a week and 100 with CSA. With CSA stores, we're buying like by the case. Tons of it.
So I'm just trying to say, like, if you're the guys who are listening and you really think about doing this, that, you know, like this is a kind of a smaller type restaurant, so he's looking for like 20 pounds a week of something on the green side or something like that. So you just want to make sure that when you're planting, you know, like he said, you're not planting some little dinky amount, because you know you're going to have bugs eat some stuff might not come up, and then you're not going to be able to fill those orders, and then that's going to cause you a lot of problems. So start out big, and then that way you can pull it back a little bit, and you can use your leftovers for your animals on your homestead, or you can use a compost pile or something. But just make sure that when you guys get into this, it's a huge commitment for you, and it's a big thing for the restaurant, because they want to be able to count on you guys as you're growing your food to be able to supply them. And if you start messing up, I mean, it's just business. They might love you to death, but if you're hurting their bottom line, then you're going to be out and somebody else is going to be in. We appreciate you having us at your place, man. It's a nice place. And hopefully you guys like this video. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we'll leave his, do you have a website?
We just do it on Facebook right now.
Right on Facebook. We'll leave his Facebook link down below. So if you're local, you can come support your local community, or even if you got to drive a little bit just to check them out and say, hey, I saw you on Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. And that'll be cool. So other than that, we'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great weekend, and hope you guys are enjoying the Field Trip Fridays.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our video. You might want to check out these videos.
And if you want to become a Homestead homie, click the picture of us below.
We will see you tomorrow.